Hello and welcome everyone to the Friday, January 27th, 2023 edition of the Contributor Comms team meeting. So as a reminder, we do operate under a code of conduct, which basically says to be respectful of your fellow attendees and speakers and generally be excellent to each other. We might have, So usually I try to remember and usually fail to remember to offer an opportunity at the beginning of the meeting for anyone who's new to our group to say hello and tell us a little bit about why you're here. So if there's anyone new on today who would like to say hello, feel free to unmute or to ping in the chat. Totally optional though. If you don't feel comfortable introducing yourself, that's okay too. Alrighty. Feel free to jump in at any time. Offers always open. So we'll go ahead and dive into our meeting for today. All right, so I created today's day notes in the doc underneath our table. And, we'll start off with updates and big wins. I had one update that I did finally create the PR for updating the owner's file in the Twitter repo, the Twitter Together, what is it called? Contributor Tweets repo. So we had decided to add Kim in as someone who could approve and get pinged to review PRs in that repo. Generally, if you are interested in being someone who is asked for your review when a new tweet comes in, you might want to be part of the contributor tweets owners file. So since we had wanted to add Kim to that, Kim needs org membership. Kim McMahon needs org membership in order for that to go through, because apparently it will put a hold on the PR because it considers the owner's file to be invalid without Kim being part of the org. So I sent Kim a message about that. I don't think she's on. But that is one thing that is holding that PR back, although it does exist now. Any questions about that? I also was chatting with Atarva this morning. Oh, you can be a sponsor. Thank you, Ray. Likewise, happy to sponsor Kim.
Oh, yeah, same. Yeah.
Maybe we should.
I texted her and said, hey, if you need help with org membership, let me know. But I never heard back. So I'm going to probably text
I think
her.
she's really busy right now or something.
Yeah. Cisco's got something going on, I think. Or where is she now? Not Cisco. Is it Cisco?
Somewhere else.
I don't
know. But I pinged her the link to the members or member info page. But yeah, maybe that'll take a bit. I don't know if we should adjust that PR in the meantime and just add her in once she gets that, maybe.
Yeah.
That might be the best thing to do.
I wonder.
Might recreate this.
I wonder if I could create the issue for her.
I don't know. Probably better if she does, right?
Well, I know it's better if she does, but it's one of those things where it's like, I could fill that out for her. I know all of the info she needs. All right. Like,
this is true.
I'll ask her. We'll see. Oh, first I'll ask Bob. Has this ever been done before?
Sounds good. And the other item that I wanted to talk about was this morning I was chatting with Atarva. Atarva wanted to take on some responsibility with regard to reviews and approving things as well. So I wanted to discuss a little bit what you would like to help out with, Atarva. So basically, what we have for owners files, and this is a good review for everyone, which is another good reason that we're bringing this up, because I wanted to make sure that we got these right and everyone knew what they were getting signed up for. So we have two repos. We have the contributor tweets repo. I wonder if I can bring these up quickly. I guess contributor tweets would probably just bring it up. Yeah, there it is. So this is the one that I just published. So this is the repo that we don't use anymore because we have buffer, but we could theoretically use if the automation worked, which I'm not 100% sure that it does right now.
It works,
But
Ash.
normally, does it?
Kind of, not really.
I feel like that's the usual case when it's broken anyway.
Yeah.
So, but the options for the owner's file that we have here are basically reviewers or approvers. So if you're in the reviewers block, that means that you're going to get pinged when a new PR is added to this repo at random. It won't be everyone all the time, but folks from this list will be pinged to review it when a PR comes in, which is separate from approvers. Approvers are folks who have permission to approve PRs in this repo. So there is a difference in this repo for that because Imran, as our tech lead, needs permission to this repo. Hello, cat. Needs permission to this repo to be able to fix the automation when it's broken and add new things to it and generally mess around with that part.
This is kind of a no-brainer. Yeah.
Yeah. So those are the two options for this one. And then the other repo that we have, I don't know if this is faster than me searching for it, but it should be here. Oh no, that's the label. Where is it?
We should get rid of that tracking board link.
Yeah, there's all sorts of things we need to fix in here.
I know.
We had
Again,
discussed reviving it, but
yeah.
I've done work on that to show. So
Oh, you have? Okay, never mind. Don't get rid of it.
yeah. So we can talk about that a
But-
little bit later.
Yeah.
It is like not here.
Did
So
update
I guess I'll
that
just
thing?
go find it.
Yeah. What are you looking for?
Just the contributor comms repo.
Oh, it's under community.
I know. Okay, community. If I
Contribute.
do that, will it
got
bring up?
I got it. I got it
It
right
did
here.
not.
There you go.
Thank
Mm, the chat.
you. Perfect. So this is the other owner's file that we have that we are updating, that is updated. So again, it has a reviewers and an approvers section. These are both the same in this case. So this is for any updates to our contributor comms team repo, where we have things like our role handbooks, storytelling resources, our charter, all of that basic description of our team kind of stuff. So Atharva, what kind of responsibility would you like to have within the team?
At this
Like-
point, I'm just pretty much generalizing things. So I think I've been around in this contributor comms for a while. So I think this under community ownership, I think I can be a part of it.
Mhm.
But I don't know exactly that Twitter together would be my kind of thing. Because
That's fine.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking. Might not really be your area.
But would you like to help find a
Yeah,
solution
of
to
course,
that
yeah.
problem? Yeah. Like, I think that's fine. Like, we could put you on like as a co-lead for tech, maybe.
I was thinking about the same thing, Chris, because can there be more than one tech leads? Because I
Yeah.
have done some work for the communities, the website by reorganizing the website for
Mhm.
the KDev, and
Yep.
I have some experience in yoga as well. So
Yeah,
yeah,
like,
I
Certainly
was
could
that
be.
help is wanted. I'm cool with the tech lead.
Imran, what do you think?
Yeah.
Would you be cool with having a co-lead for tech where Atharva
Yes,
can help you
I
out?
was a little bit outside to grab a cup of tea. So what was discussed?
Terrible, Imran.
I'm sorry. It took more than as I thought of, but just give a summary of it. I can just decide on what's going on. Sorry.
Oh, no worries.
Atharva, do you want to give a summary or should we?
No, I can give one.
No.
Like, let
Okay.
me just give one. So, Atharva's done a lot of work for the group and has
Mhm.
been here a long time.
Yeah.
Would it
I've been trying to encourage him to take on more ownership.
right? And
Right.
like, ownership in the community is a big deal, and like having your name as a lead or a shadow is good for a lot of reasons. Would you
Mhm.
mind
Hmm?
having a co-tech lead?
Yeah, sure. I mean, oh, that's was the question. Absolutely.
That's
The
what I
question was,
figured.
would I like help?
I mean,
Yes.
this is all open source, so I mean, everyone can. I mean, he's also contributing, and definitely it will be also helpful for me to discuss a lot of things. I think it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, sure.
Awesome.
Perfect. So let's make Atarva a co-tech lead. Would you like to make the PR to make yourself a tech lead, Atarva? Or would you like one of us to do it for you? Would you feel more
yeah,
official
yeah.
that way?
Or do you wanna
Slash,
Oh,
And then not because
well-
of
more
that,
confident that it would get
One
done.
of the reasons is it's very confusing where the things are.
Yes.
The owners files are
That's
there are many owners
part of the
files, so-
problem. Oh, there's
Mm.
tons of owners file and essentially like the way the owners file model works, just a tech piece real quick, right? Like it's an inherited model. So if there's no owners file in a directory, it will inherit the go up a directory levels owners file. Otherwise,
How
if
that
there is an
works?
owners file in there, it will say only these people need to be able to do things in this part of the repo kind of deal. So
The
yeah,
contributor comms one is a good example of that. I was kind of surprised that we had our own owner's file for that.
yeah, the own
Doesn't
and-
just roll up to communication.
right, like it's weird. I'll just leave it at that. It's like we have to have lines drawn in certain places for certain reasons, and owners files do that for us essentially.
Atarva, you were also looking into the Zapier integration, trying to figure out how we can integrate Buffer with Twitter together, right? So we should add you
Yeah.
as an approver to that one as well.
Mhm.
Probably.
Yeah.
Cool.
We discussed this in the previous meeting. I just showed a demo about it, and I have an update on that as well.
Cool.
So I'm waiting for it when it comes to that part.
All right, sounds good. We can get to that in the table. Or we can discuss now.
Speaking
Doesn't really matter.
speaking of your Zapier account, Tarva, I need to open an issue in Kubernetes funding, get that approved. But then there's two options. CNCF can create an account and give us the passwords, or you can give CNCF your credentials and they'll put in the billing info. Take your pick. It's Jeff Sika that's doing the work, so I completely trust him. So
I
take your
think it
choice.
would be good for CNCF to handle it
Okay.
after.
Yeah, I mean,
One-
either way is fine.
Yeah. Or does it matter if we have the
It doesn't matter. Just as long as we have the correct creds, we're good. And that's how they do this for a lot of stuff, right? Like, because like our Buffer account, prime example, I don't remember which email was used to set up for that, but I know that we were granted access to it.
And I pinged you a reminder so that you'll know to do the PR later, because if it was me, I would forget.
Yes.
As we have seen
Uh,
repeatedly.
Chris, I'll ping you about it. I think let's go with anything that seems fine. I don't have an opinion for it right
Okay.
now.
Got it. No problem. I'll take care of it. Don't worry.
All right. Progress. And that's part of one of the AIs that you wanted to talk about, Chris, right? You want to dive into the others? If there are more?
Yeah. So I got to reach out to, I think it's only Bob that can fix a calendar. Like, I would really like to know who
Think
owns
so.
the calendar, right? Like,
Yeah, I was just talking with him, like, we really need to fix this.
yeah. Like, it should not be only Bob. Let's
It should
just-
not be only Bob.
Or CNC.
I think there's a couple other people that can, but still, it's like those people that do everything are the only
Mhm.
people who can update
Right.
the calendar.
Yeah. It's like, oh, like back in the day before we had YouTube admins, you know, like, hey,
Yeah.
Chris, can you go, like, immediately need help kind of thing.
Calendar admins.
Yeah. So calendaring administration is a thing. So yeah, we need to
Maybe
spread
that's
that
something our
load.
group should consider taking on.
I-
It is a form of communication to the contributor community.
right? Like I think maybe we open a chat with Bob and talk about it, or the larger contributor comms team. I need to, there's so many issues open on Twitter together right now. I just want to consolidate them all, right? Like, go see this one, go, you know, like at the bottom of each one, just be like, go see this one. This is the one we're actually working on.
This is a fair
So,
point. Do you
yeah.
mean issue consolidation on GitHub or in our doc or both?
GitHub.
I assume both.
GitHub issue. I should put that
Okay.
specifically. Yeah. So yeah, like it's a lot of sprawl right now because I feel like everyone's pointed out something different that's broken. And we might have some repeats too. So yeah, I'll go through that and clean it up. But then last week after the meeting, I asked CNCF, hey, how do we do the whole Zapier thing? And they're like, hey, all you need to do is get a issue open in K funding and approved, and we'll create an account for you and hand off credentials.
I mean, is it only limited to that only one Zap, or is it for the whole account of Zapier?
It's a
That-
whole Zapier account. You'll get a funded Zapier account. So you'll have access to multi-step actions and like up to 5, I think is the initial offering of like full functional zaps. And you'll get execution limit increases and things like that. Does
Okay,
that make sense?
yeah.
Like I actually have a weird Zapier account because they like my newsletter when I set it up, and they just gave me like the access. It's pretty cool. So I have like 5 zaps and 50,000 executions of those zaps that I can do. And they're like, you can do multi-steps where it's like, you know, hey, I need to actually transform this and then put it in another thing and then send it to another service. So full featured Zapier, good stuff.
So while we are in Zapier, then I'll just go ahead and tell you about the update. So we had a blockage on how to validate the length of the character, length of the tweet. So as Chris told us previously, there's a field in Zapier where you can just apply the restriction of getting the length of the tweet, and then I created a path where only continue when the length is between that tweet character limit. So for now, it is totally working.
Nice.
And we, for every edge case we occurs like the tweet character length or any new case we work on, we find across, then we can just mention that in the issue I have created. Let me get that for
Yeah,
all
this
of
is
you.
your issue is the one I want to point everybody to from all these other issues that are open.
Actually, so I mean, Atharva created an issue to have this Zapier as a to replace
Work too.
together. So we can use this issue as umbrella issue and maybe point to this one. So maybe you want to ping or I can ping. So I just added some of the features in the existing ones, and I think we have to discuss a few things as well.
Yeah, sure. Let's.
So maybe
Should we discuss this now? Because
no, I
Zapier.
don't think so. Just maybe you can pull up the
Oh,
issue.
okay,
And
you want to talk
then,
private?
yeah, so that.
Oh,
But as a
alright.
team, I mean, there are some things we need to ask the team, because the current workflow which we use, I was looking at it, like we have an issue, then we create a PR, then it goes to a tweet. We have 2 workflows, like issue to PR to tweets, and there is a PR to tweets. So these are the 2 things covered within the GitHub action. So we need to look at it and take the ones which is, let's say, feasible to the current use case. How we're going to use the Zapier to automate. Do we really need to have the PR to tweet, or do we really need to have an issue and PR, then issue get closed and then creates a tweet and so on. So yeah, this was one thing.
The mechanics of it all. Yeah, that's a good point. Because now it's you open an issue and it auto creates a PR for you based off that issue.
Yeah.
Do we even want a PR anymore?
Exactly. So that's the point.
Do we even want the contributor tweets repo, for example? Could all this fall under the comms repo now? right?
Yeah,
As far
that's-
as like
yeah.
process and issues and
Yeah,
things like
yeah.
that.
Because it's not like there's a place where we need to store the tweets anymore.
Right.
So
Yeah, like it'll all go out the door to Buffer or Twitter itself or something, right? Like,
interesting.
yeah.
So the Zap I've been working for just works like this. You create an issue, it validates the Twitter length, the character length. If it's within the character limit, it just schedules or add it to buffer, and that's it. No need to create another PR or anything like that. But the point here is the tweet will go out and it will be posted, but it won't be stored in any folder like that. So do we want to store every tweet that goes out?
No, that's
We
what
haven't
Twitter's
been.
for. We,
Yeah,
no,
all right then.
like,
Yeah.
that's exactly what Twitter's for.
So-
Like our
so then-
outputs are the
Yeah.
storage part.
So then we need to find a mechanism to close the issue alone. If the tweet succeeded, we need to find a mechanism to close the issue. So that should be the
Yeah, and we need an approval process. Though,
approval.
too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the.
So I do
Yeah,
wonder if we have to use a PR for all that.
Mm.
And maybe it is just open a PR. And once it hits approve, it'll actually post. It might be like a
Similar to what
super
we have now.
multi-step Zapier, right? I don't know. I gotta look at
Can
it.
we
still.
Complicated.
create so our how do I frame this? There are labels in the Kubernetes repository, right?
Mm.
So are there labels that cannot be applied that are available in issue label that are available as issue labels that cannot be applied in PRs?
That's a good
This
question.
is a good question.
I would have like
Because
can you say approve in an issue?
let's try it on
I don't-
any.
I don't think
know.
so,
I don't think so.
but we could always
I mean,
try.
Yeah, let me open a
Yeah.
bogus issue real quick and just try it.
Let's try it on the okay, a new issue also will work.
Also,
there's-
PR thing.
There's a file in I forgot which repository that
Yeah,
actually
I
has
know
all the
where-
file labels.
Yeah, it's labels.yaml. I just forget where it is. And I bookmarked it for a reason. Trial labels. There we go.
So what I was thinking was, if there is no label for approval for issues, we can ask the people to give us a new label for issues for tweet approval, and if
Or we can
one of the
keep our
owners
current,
We
we can keep our current
for-
repo and do the PR thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's another way. Yeah, if let's say if we don't get a new label, then we can use the current mechanism. Yeah.
So I'm looking through
current
here,
mechanism means creating a PR and then approving it.
approving it, and then it goes
Yeah.
out the door kind of thing. So you'd have to wait for the label approved to be applied before doing anything. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But for issues, so I've dropped a link in chat for the labels.md file. And it literally tells you what labels can be used where, and approve does not look like it can be used in issues. So we would probably need to go the PR route.
Yeah, so we can go either PR out or
But-
we can ask
Or-
them
or we can
for
have-
just new label for us. Yeah, but basically both of them works. It's just a matter of what do we want
Mm.
and what would
But
be
if you
easier
have
for
any-
us. Do
if
we
you have
really
an
need a
issue,
PR?
you can then use that issue to track things, then open a PR that closes the issue, and when it gets merged and approved, the issue automatically goes. I don't know if this makes sense for this, but I was thinking about something like this for what I'm going to show about the trackboard later.
Mhm.
But isn't this currently how the Twitter together thing works for us?
Well, it doesn't work. But Yeah, that's
but
basically
it's
the same
But let's say it
process.
works.
It's the same process, it sounds like,
Yeah.
that we have to follow.
But,
Like, I mean, adding a label for approved to just our repo for issues, I don't know if that would fly, to be honest with you.
Agreed.
Um,
That's what I'm thinking
but
as well.
Yeah.
using PRs that already have the Prow plugin set up for approved and everything else, I think that's probably the right way to go. And we can hold, we can do whatever it is we need to do with those particular things. We just need to we need to clean up the issue so that the issue text is only the tweet. And then that PR gets created. Well, I don't know if we have to do that, but the PR gets created with the tweet. You can then use Zapier to pull out the content of the tweet, and the approval process, once it's done, is the trigger it can run on.
Hmm.
Or what we can do is, instead of creating issue, let we tell all the people that create a PR for tweet. So
Yeah. And we could have a
Actually,
Then
PR
we
that's
would-
one way we have already. So that's one of the workflow.
no,
Issue.
we have
No,
to
the
create
wo-
an issue first, and
Yeah,
then
the
the
issue is-
automation
No, the
creates the
GitHub
PR.
action has two mechanisms. No, we can also enable that. So it's also possible. So
Oh.
PR to tweet is also possible, but we don't use it because we have we have been using the workflow of issue to PR to tweet, but PR to tweet is also possible with, let's say, with
Okay.
GitHub action. So if that's also, yeah. I
And-
actually commented out those two lines in the issue, the 289. Yeah, for discussion, but it's good that we are already speaking. So we can also, I'm also in favor of PR to tweet rather than creating issue.
So
Yeah.
one
This
thing I
way
want
we'll
to,
also get the /approve thing,
Right.
and we'll not waste any time creating an issue and then converting it to PR.
so one thing I want to do, if possible, and I know it is, Zapier will queue things in buffer. That way we just have to manage the buffer queue and not deal with any API credentials that'll break or anything like that, as Twitter is changing things.
Mhm.
Does that
Avinash
make
also
sense?
made a good point in chat that we also need to consider how tweet writer would edit their tweet if
Yes.
they need to, or if we would leave that to the reviewer.
It's
I mean,
Edit the
so-
tweet in the sense what?
So only thing we have to worry about from the user is length. So we have to tell them, basically, there's no validation for that. I don't think we can do in GitHub PRs. So we have to tell them, right? Like, write your thing in Twitter, make sure it works, then paste it here, right? Like, that's the right way to do this kind of thing.
I think a good
Yeah.
example for considering the editing would be events.
Mhm.
I'm sure Avinash is thinking about, like, what if you write a tweet about an event and you put in
And
the wrong date
Yep.
and you got to update that? The reviewer might not know that, but you
Mm.
would.
Well, then at that point,
let's say after editing, does it maybe we can trigger the SAP? Maybe if that, maybe we need to consider this use case, but it could be useful, especially
Yes,
doing
these are the use cases you can just, we all can just write it on the GitHub issue because we can forget most of it. We'll forget it at some time, yeah.
yeah.
Also, sometimes wrong tweets go out and that's just the way it's going to be. So we might
That's
also
fine.
need to update our oops, we made a mistake policy.
Yeah, the reason why I want to go to buffer is that it does give us, like, we have a scheduled number of slots per day that we can use. It does give us a chance to catch things
Yeah.
because it won't go out the door immediately. It'll be queued in buffer to go out when the schedule says so. So that is a option
A benefit.
and, you know, a way to kind of catch things before they go out. And short window, yes, but it's not immediate, I don't think.
Yeah.
Um,
A lot of good
and-
discussion here. This is a very
Yeah.
interesting problem. I'm glad that you're working on it, Atharva.
Mhm.
So are you talking about getting the tweet from the PR to draft in buffer, or
No,
just any slots.
it would just go into the queue,
Okay. Okay.
right? Like you would add to buffer queue as opposed to sending it straight to Twitter, basically. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
And I can
Yeah.
show you what I'm talking about too, if you want.
Yeah. You can schedule something in a draft, but the more important thing is once it gets into the queue.
Yeah, it like having a bunch of stuff we need to go approve after it's already been approved isn't a good use of our time, right? Like if it's approved in GitHub, we shouldn't have to also go approve it in Buffer. Like Buffer won't tweet it out if it's too long, right? Like
Yeah.
that kind of thing. It'll catch that and be like, no, I can't do this. Let me find.
Do we need to have a special meeting where folks interested in the Twitter workflow get together to discuss?
We might, because it is like a little nuanced using Zapier
is.
with Buffer and GitHub and everything. But essentially, right, like this becomes the thing. I'll just screenshot it and share it in Slack, maybe.
We also only have 20 minutes left, so.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead, and I'll just
All
paste this
good.
in our Slack.
Federico, since you mentioned that you had updates on reviving the tracking board, let's go ahead and discuss that here.
Yeah. So
What you got?
let me share what I have. Actually, I didn't make use of the previous one because I think that's there was an update in terms of the boards, and I think they are a bit different now from
interesting.
what they now call the classic ones.
Oh.
This is the one that I've made. Not that it's better or worse. It's just that I think the approach is slightly different. So what I did, I don't know, do you want me to share my screen or
Yeah, go ahead.
is it
I can
fine?
share it
Okay.
too, or if you want to walk us through it.
Oh,
This does
okay, so let me
not take me where I expected it to. This is not the right thing that I copied.
post it. I can't. But if
Yeah, I
you can
think I
share
have to
it,
give you
it's
permission.
Yeah.
No,
But
no
let's see if
worries.
this
Just
works.
go or I'll speak. I'll speak while
Okay.
we're doing.
There
So
we go.
That works.
the idea here of the boards, and please click on the drop down there on the blog PRs.
Blog PRs.
There's a drop down and put
Ooh.
list, the table. So table view first. Okay, so what is the goal here? And this has been I'm bringing some of the stuff that I've been working in terms of the Kubernetes release, because this is being used more and more there as well. And the idea here is essentially to have a more one-to-one mapping between issues, pull requests, and actual activities that we are having. What I did here was essentially to add the spot. Most of the last 6 months of the blogs in the site are there. So these are automatically added because you can select. This is at the top level Kubernetes level. So you can select any repository that's underneath, including the contributor site one, and eventually any other that we have. For the contributor site one, I've added most of the last 6 months in terms of articles. You can see that automatically the assignees and etc. is information that gets pulled from the actual pull request or the issue. You can add both issues and pull requests. The status one is so you can also add custom built bespoke columns. In this case, I've just added one, which is the status, and each field in the status essentially is one of the columns in the other view. If you can change the other view now, back to the board. Yeah, so it's the same. The difference is that now each status is a column, and it allows this kind of view. There's an additional let's call it object here, which which is the ones that are on the to lane, which are this draft thing. This are the only ones that only have existence in the projects and not an actual reference in terms of the Kubernetes repository. So there's no actual issue or PR named Spotlight Book Reading Club, for example. This lives only inside the project. I think this is similar to most of the entries that we had in the previous ones. Why this is useful? Because it's not always that you want to open an issue just for a placeholder idea, although that is possible. There are such things as placeholder issues and placeholder PRs. But in terms of making this operational, there are several ways that I can think. The one that is the least amount of work is essentially following what we have right now. And what do we have in terms of blog posting? There's a separate discussion that we can go afterward, which is if we should review or not the blogging guidelines in terms of who opens the push request, etc. Let's keep that on ice. But we do not have an issue-based approach for blogging. What I mean by this is that we do not open an issue saying we need to blog about SIG architecture spotlights. And then this issue in turn is referenced in a pull request with the actual spotlight that closes the issue. We are not doing this. Should we do this? I'm not opposed to it because I'm used to that when working with code. So for me, it flows naturally. And also, since we have more than a push request, for example, we are speaking about HackMD reviews, stuff like that. This lives outside of the pull requests that we need. We are currently adding that information to the pull request because it makes sense. It's there, but speaking in terms of the pull request, it's completely separate. So just like an issue in a Kubernetes enhancement can have like the link to the cap and to the implementation, and then each pull request is a part of that. We could also, and I'm describing ideas just for joint criticism of it. We can also move, because if you click on one of these drafts, you can immediately say create issue. So you can actually from these drafts you can create an issue. If that issue, we could follow up, for example, the initial HackMD or the initial discussion around where will it be published, etc. Then this would give birth to a PR, which is going to close that issue, and we would track the issue here or the PR. Alternative, we don't use issues, we just use PRs, which are also tracked here automatically. Actually, automatically, it's too strong of a words. Maybe with the tech leads that we have here, we can look into ways of making this a bit more automated. Specifically, if we could add some specific label to the pull requests or something, maybe it will make sense. But since this is inside the community repository, it's not that hard just to go into the list and see what's new. So we should be on top of it. Sometimes there's no automation needed because it's not like we have 100 requests per week in terms of Spotlight articles or any other blogging article. So this could be actually done as a manual review, but we could obviously move things from one lane to the other just to have an overview. Moving things here that does not act on the pull request itself, so it doesn't change labels. As far as I could tell, it doesn't really. You don't. Well, it might be possible to do it, but as it is, you'd just by moving the SIG instrumentation spotlight one to done, it doesn't close the issue. It's more of a metadata kind of thing that lives within the project. Still, I think that this has one good advantage of this is that it has a good one-to-one mapping with actual stuff that's going on in the repository. And it does allow us to have quickly an overview in terms of the blog. Specifically, I thought of it for the blogging efforts. We do not have a lot of blogs, but if we are going to change that, and that's another part of the project for 2023. So increase the number of blogs, cover more stuff, have more ideas. This would, I think, enable us to have a overview of what's going on in a relatively straightforward way.
Good stuff. The
Yeah,
one
good
question
stuff.
I had was, does it use tags or labels on issues to add them to the table, or do you have to add things to this view manually?
I'm adding them manually, and that was the part that I've said that it could be interesting to check how to automatically import them. This is being done, for example, for the enhancement tracking in Kubernetes. So there are ways to run something every day that just goes into to
Pulls them.
everything and adds them. Okay,
This
we
is
would have
common
to-
functionality in apps like Asana, for
Yeah.
example. So I'm sure there's actions for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We would just have, so I'm not overly concerned about the technical ability to do it. I'm more thinking about what is the data that automation would work on.
Mhm.
But because without that, there's no automation that will work. Speaking on a different layer, should we have like a label around contributor
Spotlights.
ContribEx blogging spotlights, or I wouldn't, or blogs, or
Yeah,
whatever.
like
Yeah.
comms blogs label. I don't know. We can come up with
We
a
do
good
have
label
a
name.
comms
Or a
general
mix,
one,
yeah.
right? But
Mm.
yeah, specific ones.
If you have
So-
a comms one,
Yeah, we've got comms.
We
If you
do.
need a blog one, so comms and blog, I feel like if it's labeled both of those,
We have
it might
this.
work. Yeah, the area contributor comms.
and for example, is that can you open the SIG instrumentation spotlights one, which Imran just
I've got it
submitted
somewhere.
last week?
Big instrumentation.
It's ready for review.
spotlight.
Yeah, I still haven't reviewed it yet. Sorry.
I'm terrible at this.
So we don't have that label. Should we add it? So we are just going down the rabbit hole in terms of when is that label added, because it's not
Basically,
there.
it's
and-
basically
and-
not used right now.
Yeah,
So if you want to
people
use
have
it,
okay, so
use it.
we can use
Yeah,
it.
go ahead. Yeah. feel
Yeah.
free.
That's great. Then I would say this: if we add it, if everyone adds it automatically when it's something that requires our attention, I don't think that we even should concern ourselves with the blogging aspect. We can
Okay.
just be sure to have a board that gets everything related with our
Yeah.
area comms
with
label.
our project, and then just
Yeah.
and that automation would work on that.
Cool.
So
Sounds like a good plan to me.
So it seems like we'll have some way to have the label in the issues, then automatically pull up the issue and put it in the board, right? For all the
Yeah. Imran, I can refer you later on to the stuff that's being done on the
releases.
pardon, on the release cycles, because that's
Mhm.
what's being done in terms of capturing the milestone and stuff like that. There's like I don't know if it's a bash script or
Mm.
something.
Something's running,
that-
yeah.
that does
It's
it.
a bash script and
Something is doing something.
Prowess.
It's
Currently,
uh,
Prow
uh,
instances are
it's,
also
yeah.
getting.
yeah, but
Data.
there's I could bet that there's a for loop somewhere doing doing that.
There always is.
You can, yes. So
Yeah.
This is also kind of related.
and that part we would certainly work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
This is also kind of related to the first
Yeah, exactly.
table
That's
issue.
what I was
Keep
thinking. My
talking
mind
about,
was
yeah.
saying that that's where the automation. I mean, something worth maybe we can continue on. Yeah.
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 It will require someone who has knowledge of Bash, good
got
knowledge of Bash.
I got you.
That's my
Yeah,
best
but-
programming
Yeah,
language,
Bash,
which
I
isn't
know,
saying much.
I think every
That's
Linux
my
guy might know it.
language.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
I got-
Bash is not a problem for me as well. So it's
Okay, cool.
I think
Perfect.
altogether, I think that we again, I'm not
We
joking
can
when I say
bash
I don't
this
think
out.
programming part is the complex one. We can bash this out exactly. It's more of thinking of what is the information that we want to act on, and what is the end result that we wish. I think that we have a good starting point. The information that we want to act on is everything that has a specific label, and the end result is adding it to the specific project view. Second stage, we could look, for example, into the status of the PRs and the issues, and automatically move them into the correct lane. If someone closes the PRs or issue, it makes sense for it to move automatically to the move. But I think this is a second step, and we can go little by little, just by having everything with our label present in a list. I think we have a lot of we have the material to do a lot of interesting stuff, even if we don't go crazy with additional automation.
There's
Sounds
a lot
cool.
of opportunity here. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
Maybe we could get rid of our table, though. I think maybe one of the benefits of the table is that it is sufficiently annoying that stale doesn't end up with just all of the things in it.
Mhm.
I think that's what would happen if we changed to a table. All right. Good
I think that
stuff. We've only got 5 minutes
They
left.
can have
by the way.
overlap, but they cover different aspects. I think that the table, not everything that will be on the project will be on the table, and vice versa.
Awesome stuff. Need some bash hackathon work. Set it up.
I'm on it, and I will open a thread in our channel,
Sweet.
and if necessary, we can spin it off to a private discussion.
Sounds great. Sounds like a lot of fun.
I'm all for
Legit,
this.
the hackathon sounds great.
Yeah, it looks.
If we want to add it to like a contributor summit thing, we could do it. Make it
Totally
like a
good. Virtual
virtual and
hackathon.
in person. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
We could do it.
If you need the room, I'm your guy, because I'm there with the day of operations. So
Right?
I can smuggle something. Yeah.
Awesome.
And I'm easily bribed, so it's.
So you'll be great to work with.
It sounds like.
That's what it sounds like to me. We've only got 5 minutes left. I think we'll skip the table for today. Just if anyone else has any items that they wanted to talk about today, bring those up now. I think these were some awesome discussions. I'm really excited about these projects, and I'm so glad that you all are here to help with them. Hope you're having fun with it. Any other items that folks want to go over before we stop for the day?
I've created the pull request. It was a small PR, so I've just opened it.
Awesome. Send us the link.
Yeah. Here's the link.
My cat Alita is ready and
Was
waiting to
that
click
what I'm
it.
supposed to do?
Oh, do not commit. Invalid commit message. I think it's because you have an @ sign in your commit message.
Ah,
This happened to me once. Sorry.
I
buddy.
have created and deleted so many PRs and issues lately. Welcome to the team.
You can amend it. You could amend it in
Invalid.
theory, but
But it seems a lot easier when you don't, for
you
me.
might just want to, yeah. I don't know. It's up to you how you want to handle it, but it's because of that @ sign.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you
it
wanna hang
happened to
out
me as
and-
well. I tried to use an @ in the commit message to notify people, and it doesn't work.
No, that was my
want-
mistake. Yeah.
I want to make a comic zine about how you do GitHub and Kubernetes.
Oh
That is
my
a
God,
life goal.
that would be a long comic.
More of a dark novel.
I know, right? Document all the ways or all the files that are used.
Yay,
to help
Avinash got pinged by the bot. Yay, new owner's file. Something worked.
Yay, working thing. Cool.
I'm still gonna put it in the notes as a win.
Oh wait, there's an action.
There's a hand up. Hello.
Go ahead.
I was going through this one, the role handbook for the comms events, and just found a couple of broken links for the skills and requirements section. I'll just
Yay!
paste a link in the Slack. Yep. it's
Look at
done.
you making your own good first issues.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Love
I was just going
it.
through it.
Perfect.
Wonderful.
So yeah, go ahead and
And
if you would
actually,
like to
if you want
try to fix
add-
those yourself.
yeah,
Sure.
go ahead.
I will.
Chris, what were you gonna say?
I need to raise the PR in the same repo.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so
If
much.
you would like some help setting up the PR, ping us. We will do
Sure.
our best.
You're an org member already, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. I'm pretty sure you were.
Perfect.
Forgot.
Thank you.
You're probably familiar with the flow then. Thank you so much for finding that. That's so exciting. All right. Let me add that. Nitish found some broken links to fix.
I have so many sticky notes on my desk.
What is this? All right. We are like at time also. Initial PR. So much stuff today. So awesome. You all know where to find us if you need any help at any point. You can ping us in the Contributor Comms Slack channel, and you can also ping anyone directly. Often a better way to get people's attention, sadly. But if you need any help with anything, let us know. We should set up an additional meeting to talk about the workflow from Twitter to Buffer, from GitHub
Also
to
a
Buffer to
reminder.
Twitter.
Yeah. Make
Um,
all the comments in the GitHub issue so that it will be
Drop. Bye-bye.
posted and visible to all of them.
See ya. All right, sounds good. And I'll go ahead and stop our recording. Is there anything else, Nitish? Your hand is still up. Just still does that.
It doesn't know when your
Okay, cool.
question's been answered.
It does not. Meat kind of does ish, but
So I just want to point out, I'm going to be on vacation and very much trying not to touch a computer the 17th of February through the 25th.
Okay.
Shouldn't impact anything. I'll miss 2 meetings, maybe. I'll try not to. I'll try to make them, but it's not.
but we
gonna
have
be
so
a
much
high
leadership
priority.
in here now. I think
I
we
know,
can
right?
handle
Like
it.
it's not going to be a high priority right now. Sorry. So
That's good. Remembering
we
to
don't
say
have
things
like
early is good.
a team calendar, so I would put it in there otherwise. But yeah, I'll update Slack and everything when it's
Maybe
time.
we should have a team calendar.
Hmm,
Who knows?
hmm.
Anyway, and with that,
All right,
I'm going
y'all.
to go ahead and stop recording. And if anyone wants to hang out and talk about anything off the record, you're welcome to do so. But goodbye, recording.